Literacy Day is just around the corner, and you've been preparing in class, you've been practicing reading, hopefully you've been doing that at home as well, in front of the mirror or in front of some other people or animals, and you are thinking about your writing and how you're going to get them to write. And Literacy Day is not just about the literacy aspects, but it also requires you to act like a teacher. And because we're going to more schools than we have ever in the past, you each will be in charge of a group of students, not just 2, but maybe 3 or 4 students. And so you'll have to kind of manage that. So today's mini lesson talks about how to manage more than 1 student at a time. Here are some tips. You should start working with the most needy child that you have. So what does that mean, the most needy child? The most needy child sometimes is the one who is antsy, kind of can't sit still, and is prone to maybe look off in different directions, and you want to get that student on task first. Maybe they're the noisiest. Maybe they are the squeaky wheel. They're kind of monopolizing your attention. And so you want to get that student, you want to just go right to them in your group and get them started on the task at hand, and then you'll be able to kind of get to your other students as you go. Tip 2 is to don't be afraid to get help from the teachers in the rooms and your classmates. If you and a classmate are in the same room and you want to buddy up and have a little bit larger group, if that's possible for the area that you're in, feel free to do that. That would work great. There'll be a lot of teachers, the elementary teachers, and then also teachers from Oakview, someone from our team, and someone from Mr. Cass' team, so make sure that you utilize the adults in the room. Sometimes there's other adults that you can look to. Have other students drawing or brainstorming or reading while you work one-on-one. So as you're working maybe with that first student, you could have the other kids say, what I want you guys to do is I want you to start brainstorming a list of all the possible topics that you might want to write about. So you have them doing something while you're working with the other one. It's better that way. You might have them look at your book that you brought and say, hey, while I'm getting started with this guy, why don't you guys look through this book and put a sticky note on the pages that you thought were the best. So you can give them a mini task if you're worried about them kind of getting bored. You might think about giving them jobs. So if you have someone who is a little bit, has a lot of energy, you might say, hey, why don't you go get the crayons? And then they can go get those things that you need for the creation of your Literacy Day booklet. Your main goal is to keep all of your little group on task and focused, so that's part of what your job is on Literacy Day. And to remember that you are the role model, so you need to kind of decide when things are going off track or heading down that slippery slope of appropriate for school or not appropriate for school. You know what I'm talking about. And so you want to make sure that you keep them on track, keep it school appropriate. Someone today was asking about, or the other day was asking about, if a kid wants to talk about like bodily functions or going to the bathroom. It's a funny topic for little kids to talk about that, but how far do you go down that path? Maybe 1 or 2 jokes and then try to rein them in. Mrs. Hamilton was talking about the violence that some of the little kids like. You want to rein them in and make these stories ones that their teachers would be proud of, ones that their parents wouldn't mind looking at. So you got to keep that in mind as the role model. And kind of guide them. So you might redirect them like, oh, that's a great idea about, having a superpowered machine gun. But what if we made it I don't know, squirt out water. So you might deflect it or change it or help them, guide them back towards. Or what's something that your parents wouldn't mind reading, or grandma, or I don't know, pull out all the stops. And remember to have fun and to get to know your buddies. We're thinking that we might have some correspondence with them in the upcoming months, and hopefully you have a couple in your group or all of them that you really liked and enjoyed, and so we want to create a friendship with them. So make sure you get to know them, get their names. If you're not good with names, maybe write them down so that we can do thank you notes and that kind of thing, and keep the conversation going with our buddies. You're almost ready for Literacy Day. Keep on practicing, and you're going to do awesome.